Hey guys, just sitting here in Smuggler's Cove and have some time to kill. Some people were asking about our boat and what it was, and thought this would be a good time to kind of show you guys what's been done to the boat. And a lot of the mods that have been done to it were done before we got the boat, but they're pretty necessary mods from our point of view. Stock MacGregor, when you buy it, is not very well set up for cruising or even sailing in general, because you got to go up to the mast so much to make any changes to the sails. And yeah, I'll just show you some of the basic mods and some of the mods we've done to make it actually livable and make it into a good cruising boat. So the first mod that I didn't even realize didn't come with this boat until I saw Stock MacGregor the other day was the anchor roller, which is pretty much vital if you're going to be anchoring all the time. They don't have this whole metal anchor roller on here, and that's a huge help. You can just grab the rope and pull it in instead of trying to fight with it. The other thing they don't come with stock is a roller furler, which is extremely nice to have, especially if you're a new sailor like we are. Going up on deck and trying to pull up a jib all the time would be hell. Other thing that we find really handy is this Yamaha 1000 generator. You can put it through the hatch here in front of me really easily. And another mod our boat has is shore power, which is an outlet right there that you can plug in to shore power when you're on a marina. But since we don't have a marina, we have the generator. Then we got our secondary anchor right there as a safety in case we need to throw it off. Our regular anchor sits right up in the bow roller, anchor roller there. So looking back here at the mast, you can see that we've got these added blocks here with cam cleats built into them, and that allows us to pull up the sail from the cockpit and pull up the topping lift from the cockpit. Those didn't come stock from factory, and they've been really handy. We didn't do those mods. All these mods up here we didn't do. Previous owners did them, but they're super nice to have. Now if we go inside here, you'll see first thing that we have a actual marine toilet, which is very handy. These regularly come with just the porta potties, which is probably very inconvenient. We never had it with a porta potty in it. That was a mod done by the other owners. Then up front here in the V berth, regularly right up there, there's a square or rectangular cover, and under that it's packed full of foam. One of MacGregor's selling features is that the boat doesn't sink if you put a hole in it, because they've got foam packed everywhere. But we took that foam out and put in a 100-liter Plastimo tank. It's a plastic flexible tank, and it fits in there just perfectly. And then we also have a water pump that pumps it to our galley, which has been changed a lot. And you can see the whole top here has been added on to the galley, and that top slides back and forth so that you can access underneath the whole galley, and that's all storage for food.
Super convenient. because I can show them what's under here, how much food I'm able to store.
Yeah, it fits a lot of food.
That's just half of what's under there.
So it goes all the way back, and yeah, it really stores a lot of food. And then the sink has been raised up, and that's really nice to have too. The other thing we just made before we came on this trip out to the coast was the gimbals for the stove, and we just made it with two eyelets there and there, and then your bar, and then we got the stove at Canadian Tire for super cheap. I think it was $20 or something like that on sale, and they're self-lighting.
It just uses butane.
Yeah, and they just use butane, and they're really handy.
Just take it out like this.
And that's the other thing, is that we made it so that the gimbals swing up and pin out of the way when we want our full cupboard. And the stove can stay on the gimbals too when it's pinned up out of the way. So we got all that space. And then also we've got a cutting board here that can be removed to access all our food below. Yeah, probably one of our favorite mods would be the Galley. I think it's way more functional than what comes just on a stock MacGregor.
Mm-hmm. The whole thing, it moves too. I don't know if you should show them because...
Yes, that's a stock MacGregor thing, is the whole Galley slides back and forth to give you more or less room.
Easier to jump into bed or to get into the compartments underneath of it. And with a little bit of oil on the slides, it slides really easy now. It's stuck in here too.
Yeah, more storage down there. Then you'll notice that instead of the stock seat back, it's been removed, and they put in an Ingle cooler. This was done before we got the boat, and these are awesome coolers. They're really expensive. I think they're about $1,000 new, but they work really well. They work off 12 volt or 110 volts, so that when you plug it into shore power, you're not draining your batteries. And yeah, highly recommend that. And I think they take about 6 amps when they're going off of 12 volts. So we have 2 batteries in the boat, which was another mod. If you slide the Galley forward, you'll see there's 1 battery there, and then there's another battery where it came stock. There was a 3rd battery in here when we got the boat, but when we added the generator, we took it out because we didn't find it was really needed. We ran the generator maybe 20 minutes every 3 or 4 days, depending how much we use the main engine. Another mod that Allie made, which has been very handy, is because we sleep under here, and because the fridge is there now, it made it harder to get in and out of the rear berth here. So the previous owner actually put these swinging stairs on, which makes it super handy to get in and out. When you buy a stock boat, the stairs don't swing up at all, so you have to go around one side or the other. And then Allie made this cover here, because when you walk in and out of the cockpit, usually sand or water or something has fallen off your shoes, and it was landing on our bed, so she made a cover that would go on there, and it keeps all the dirt out of our bed now. A couple other mods up here is our battery tender, and it tells us how many volts are in the battery, and when it usually hits 11.8 or 12, we throw the generator on and start turning the juice up on the batteries again. Right here's our 110 volt, so when we're plugged into shore power we turn all these on. Should turn them off now because I just turned off the generator. And then here's all our switches for our stereo, macerator, refrigerator, and everything. Stereo, must have, very nice to have. Coming out the back of the boat here into the cockpit, we have a older Garmin GPS, came with the boat. It's a Garmin 178C, and it's outdated, but it works pretty good still. We've got some maps off the internet for them, and they seem to be pretty accurate yet. We also use Navionics, which is probably our main source of navigation. Another thing we added was just this bracket here, bolted onto the rear rail seats, which are also an add-on from factory. Normally they just have the one bar, I believe, and that's all that comes with the stock boat. So that bracket holds on our little 2 horsepower motor. Another mod done by the previous owner was this ladder, which is probably the best mod on the boat because I wouldn't have ever thought of it. And this is how we enter and exit the boat every time now. A lot of people have a ladder just on the back, and then you have to lift up this seat and crawl past the engine. But since we have a 90 horsepower engine on it instead of the 50 horsepower, it makes it a lot tighter to get through there. Then off the other side here, we have our little barbecue, just a Canadian Tire special, and it's mounted on the T-track there. Pretty simple. And then off the back, just for this trip, we took what would regularly be a hose reel for a mechanic shop and put on our rope so that we can stern tie, which is what we are right now. In this area you have to stern tie quite a bit, so we just reel the rope out, run it through the stern tie, and then cleat it off to each side of our boat on the cleats here. Ali would like to point out her good job on sewing us.
It's not that it's a good job, it's just that it was much needed storage
Yes.
space for, we have no place to store anything when we're underway, and so I added a couple places to throw our drinks in the front, water bottles and things, and anything that's loose, it's nice to throw it somewhere.
Yes, that's true. Any storage on the boat is handy to have. Now this is pretty ghetto, but we rigged up this tarp actually last night for the first time, just because it was pouring rain so much the last couple days. It was nice to have our slide hatch open and not have rain coming in and get some fresh air. We bought a tender off eBay for 350 bucks. It's been an awesome tender actually. So far we've only used it a few weeks now, but seems to work really good, and it collapses really small. It only weighs 40 pounds. And that's a lot of talking, but there's quite a few mods done to the boat, and I'm sure I've missed a few. Oh, another one that we have really come to enjoy in the past days as it's been pouring rain on us is a Webasto heater, which we have mounted under this side of the front V berth in the storage area, and it blows out extremely hot air and heats this place up in about 2 minutes, and then we turn it down and it'll maintain heat all day long at 0.2 of an amp when it's just maintaining heat. So it runs off kerosene and it takes up hardly any room, and it takes up very little battery power, so we do like it quite a bit. Another add-on would be the VHF, which is a must-have if you're out on the coast. So you can radio other boats and call for help if you need to. Our shore power, we have a few added outlets. Here's one, and then down there's an outlet, and under the table is an outlet. Under the table we've added a few drawers, which are very handy. Holds our cutlery. These are just Canadian Tire drawers that we added a bungee on and screwed to the bottom side of the table. Same with over here. They seem to be out of our way, but they add quite a bit of handy storage for the two of us. Now there's a million mods when it comes to rigging the boat for sailing, and we haven't figured it out 100% yet, but we added a topping lift on the back of the boom, which has been pretty handy, and we'd like to figure out a better way for reefing. Right now we still have to go up to the mast, pull the pin, and take out the slugs and hook the ring and then pull our sail back up. So it does take some time to reef, but it seems to work okay for now. And as far as I can think, that's pretty much most of the mods. Can you think of anything else?
Not right now, but if we do, we'll add them on later.
Okay.